Hey guys, I'm HOJ, and in today's video, we're going to be doing another Best of One standard event, this time with a Selesnya Midrange deck by Builder WCL. So this one I found on mtgdex.net, and it looks kind of interesting. So if you haven't run it against this deck in the ladder, it uses a couple different options to kind of gain control of the game. Before we get into it, all the links are going to be in the description. Also, the top pinned comment on this video if you would like to subscribe or become a member for 99 cents a month to get early access to all my videos and help support the channel. Those are going to be options there as well. All right, so the build of the deck here, we're taking advantage of Mightform Harmonizer, which is a 4-mana 4/4 that has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, double the power of target creature you control until end of turn. You can also warp it in for 3 mana. So this can be really nice when you have multiple landfall triggers by way of cards like Icetill Explorer, which lets you play multiple lands per turn, and then you can also play lands from your graveyard. This particular version of the deck is also running a full playset of Felidar Retreat, which I really like, which is an enchantment for 4 mana. Whenever a land you control enters, you can choose one to either create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn. So I think this is a very powerful effect, and I'm excited to see how this plays. For kind of utility, we've got Archdruid's Charm at 3 mana as an instant. You can search your library for a creature or land card and reveal it, and then put it on the battlefield tapped if it's a land card, otherwise put it in your hand. So oftentimes you're going to be using this for landfall, but you can also use it to find a potential creature to kind of help you go over the top. Alternatively, you can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, and then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. And then lastly, you can exile target artifact or enchantments. I think this is really good right now. There's a lot of really powerful artifacts and enchantments in Standard, and just the ability to have it be a piece of removal or go and find a win con just seems like a really nice include in this deck. 2 copies of Mossborn Hydra, which is one of kind of the classic landfall creatures that just doubles in power every time you play a land. And then it also has Trample, which is really nice. 2 copies of Lumbering Worldwagon that goes and helps find more land whenever this enters or attacks, and it has power equal to the number of lands you control with crew 4. Then a full playset of Earthbender Ascension, which helps you not only put lands into play, but also once you can get this powered up to 4 counters, you can start giving Trample and +1/+1 counter to a creature whenever you landfall. So this is a nice way to kind of help your creatures that don't naturally have Trample get Trample. 1 single copy of Keen-Eyed Curator, but this is kind of like running 5 copies because we have Archdruid's Charm to go find it. This essentially deals with sort of the graveyard hate slot for the deck to deal with like Reanimator. Is it Lessons? It's really good at just kind of nabbing all the relevant cards in the graveyard, and then it can become a 7/7 trample threat after you power it up with enough different cards or different types of cards that you exile. 2 copies of Great Divide Guide, since we are running multiple sources of mana, and also the sideboard plan of this deck. We're going to be doing Best of One today, but I do want to show you the full Best of 3 deck. It is kind of a very interesting multicolored sideboard, so Great Divide Guide will help with that. A full playset of one of the most powerful or annoying, depending on which side of the table you're on, cards in Standard right now, Badgermole Cub, to help power out fast mana. And then we've got Llanowar Elves on 1. For the land count, we're running 25 land, 4 Fabled Passage, 4 Escape Tunnels, and 2 Cryptic Caves to go and find more land and get sort of the double trigger effect. And then we have a full playset of Bossing Say to help with earthbending and giving us kind of sort of a long game against control and things like that. For the board, you have sort of like board wipes for small creature decks with fire magic. You have Disdainful Stroke, so you can power into countering big spells from control decks. You also have Seam Rip for kind of targeted removal, and Voice of Victory to turn off counterspells. Doorkeeper Thrull is also a very notable card, which completely turns off the Jeskai Artifacts deck. Really great against what's the card I'm looking for? It's the new temporary lockdown. I can't think of the name, but Pinnacle Starcage, that's right. And then you've also got one of each of the lands that are relevant to go and find, and then a Volatile Fault as well for a little bit of land destruction. And with this, you can actually use the Icetill Explorer and just like do it over and over again, which is pretty disgusting. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump in. Hope everybody had a great New Year's Day and hopefully some exciting New Year's resolutions. And excited to kick off the new year and the new season. I also have a couple other decks that I'm kind of prepping for some future videos. And if you have like a particular deck that you are interested and you want to see me kind of showcase in a standard event, let me know. Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys are kind of excited by and what kind of decks you guys want to see. I'm also having a blast right now, just grinding ladder on standard with my mono white aggro / white weenie deck, which has been doing actually really well. So if you guys want to see a video of that, let me know. All right, opening hand looks good. We got stuff to do, a lot of powerful cards. Happy to keep. Okay, we'll lead out here with Ba Sing Se into Badgermole on 2. Looks like we might be up against like blue-white control, possibly maybe some slightly different variant, but usually it's only blue-white control that runs Anchorage. All right, let's get our planes and let's lead out with a Badgermole Cub. Go ahead and target the planes. Yeah, and against this deck, I think we want to get Felidar Retreat down if we can dodge counter magic. It is pretty powerful, and it's especially seeing them use a Get Lost right there. It's pretty difficult for control decks to deal with enchantments typically. All right, we can get another Badgermole going. If we go Cryptic Caves here, we can go Badgermole and then play out a Great Divide Guide here as well. All right, so let's maybe activate on this Cryptic Caves. Get Great Divide Guide going. Hopefully we don't get board wiped here. It's possible. So I'm not sure if we're supposed to play out both of these, but I think just getting mana going feels pretty good. Hopefully they don't have Day of Judgment on 4. They could also have Star Cage, which would be equally bad. But if we can somehow dodge a board wipe for another turn, we can try to go for Felidar Retreat. All right, so now I think we want to go for... I'm a little hesitant about playing the Felidar Retreat right now, since it is a very difficult thing for them to deal with, and they probably have like no more lives here. That's what they're showing us. So maybe we're supposed to just use some of these map tokens. We could try to go for like Icetill Explorer and see if we can connect there. That might be a good play. And then we can like get multiple uses of like Escape Tunnel, something like that. So I think I'm going to go for Explorer here and see if we can connect. We'll bait the counter spell. Okay, so it looks like it got there. Now I guess we could start using some tunnels here. We could also try to get rid of these map tokens if they're just going to like board wipe next turn if they have Ultima or something like that, get a little bit deeper into the deck. And mostly just trying to burn through a couple cards here. Okay, we can play another forest. And I guess let's just put this on like a Cryptic Caves or something like that. So to spread out the threats a little bit. Ooh, there's another Felidar Retreat. We'll keep that on top. So hopefully we dodge Ultima this next turn, but even if they have it, like we can just drop Retreat and kind of start going. Especially since we have like 2 Get Lost already in the yard. We could try for the first Retreat here. They probably just counter it and then like search a little bit. We could also just try pushing and just trying to like bait it out. But we've got 2 retreats, so we might as well kind of go for it. We could also push for Harmonizer this turn and then try to give like an immediate threat. I kind of like that more since they can deal with this with... Actually, let's warp this in. That way we don't commit it to the board completely. Can help us also play around to get lost. Yeah, that's the 3 steps plus the card draw makes sense. So now we can safely Felidar Retreat. And they're going to have a heck of a time getting rid of it, hopefully. Okay, now we can escape tunnel. I think we have enough of a presence here. Let's just start buffing the team and then try to get in for a little bit of damage this turn. And then let's save the escape tunnel for like end of turn in case they board wipe. No reason to use it now. I really like how Felidar Retreat like gives us a lot more options against control. Yeah, they're going to try to dig for probably another like Get Lost. But in the meantime, can probably just kill them. Like even if they find it here, like we can still get one more activation. And then we've got another Felidar Retreat for next turn. Yeah, there it is. So let's use this in response. And pump the team. Okay, now we've got 15 on board. All we need now is either 2 hits here, otherwise we can just Felidar Retreat again. We can even Boss Sing Say, it doesn't really matter. Lots of different options. This will definitely do it though. And just to make it really, let's go a little over the top here and just, yeah. All right, and that'll do it. Yeah, I like Felidar Retreat in this deck a lot. There are a couple other versions which I didn't see with the Felidar Retreat, and it just seems like such a natural inclusion against control. Want to know. Also for future videos, I'm gonna try to see if I can find like a budget version of some of the decks. with certain decks, I don't think I'm going to offer a budget version because it'll kind of completely change the deck. Like this deck has a ton of rares in it, and it would just be completely destabilized by trying to make it budget. So like, with my last video with like mono red, can definitely go with like a budget version, but like certain decks like this, you just change the whole deck if you don't have the rares. All right, let's go ahead and get Ba Sing Se going. A little bit of a slow draw here, unless we need to draw a basic land to be able to play Badgermole on 2. Looks like it's mono white enchantments. Archdruid's Charm should be able to help a little bit here. Hopefully we can survive the pressure. All right, Fabled Passage. Save that for later. We'll just go ahead and get Llanowar Elves going. And then we're going to be looking for triple green for the Archdruid's Charm. If he doesn't have like a bunch more enchantments to stack on real quick, maybe we survive long enough. Sheltered by Ghosts is pretty good. Although we're happier to see that than like the armor instead, which would buff it more. Very carefully waiting until after his attack before using the escape tunnel, just so he can't nab the card from our yard. All right, we'll do Badgermole Cub. Yeah, I think we just want to go for Badgermole Cub here. Now, I'm not sure if there's a trick. So if I put the counter on this escape tunnel and then cracked it, maybe we get an extra land. I can't remember exactly how that works. So maybe I was supposed to do that. Still getting used to the deck. So our hope here is that we're able to untap and Archdruid's Charm. Hopefully I have enough mana to do that through the Sheltered by Ghosts. Okay, maybe not. So much for that. Yeah, I think I'm curious about that interaction. Maybe we were supposed to put the counter on the escape tunnel and then sort of do it that way. All right, so now Earthbender Ascension. Probably don't survive one more turn. We're not able to target, but we can get rid of the Sheltered by Ghosts, getting back our, let's see, what did this one take? Llanowar Elves, so we want to get rid of this other one over here. Get the Badgermole Cub back. And then I guess we have enough for like a Great Divide Guide with that. Could have also waited till his turn, but then we wouldn't be able to play the Great Divide Guide, so not sure of the correct sequencing there. Man, they have all the answers. Whew. And now this becomes untargetable, unfortunately. Or I think maybe one more. Okay, so Mightform Harmonizer. Whew, just not enough time. Yeah, unfortunately that's going to do it. I wonder if my sequencing could have been a little bit different here. One and one. This deck was from a standard league, ended up going 5-0, I think like a week or so ago, or within the last couple days. Opening hand looks really good. Happy to keep. Good old turn 2 Hydra is always fun. I think we want Hydra before Worldwagon. Actually, I guess we can't do that because of the land. That's okay. Let's get Ba Sing Se going. Oh, never mind. This does work. It's untapped if you have a basic land. Okay, makes sense. Against blue-white, we probably want the Hydra going first. Although this is like harder for them to deal with in some ways. So maybe we're supposed to go with like Worldwagon first. But this will be a very big threat very quickly. So I think we want to go for Worldwagon if we can connect. Could also, like, I think the Ascension will be harder for them to deal with slightly. So let's start here, see if we get countered. Probably no more lies. Okay. Got about one turn to deal with this, so it's at least that. They can't use Star Cage. They've got to have actual targeted removal. All right, let's go for Ascension. We can Ascension. See if we can get a counter spell here. I think they have to hold removal for the Hydra. Yeah, so if we trick them into a counter spell, then we're just golden. Because now they're dead. Nice. Yeah, Hydra is no joke. All right, 2-1. For those of you that have piloted this kind of deck, maybe you guys can answer sort of the question about the land, like putting the counter on the land that like taps and sacrifices. Do you? I think I saw somewhere where you like get like an extra one or something. I can't remember how it works, but would love to know. Yeah, it looks great. We got a nice little 1, 2, 3. And up against the same mono white enchantments deck, which can have a really fast start. So hopefully we can stabilize this time. They do have a full play set of Shelter by Ghosts and Seam Rip, so they will have a lot of answers. There's the Seam Rip. Okay. Does feel like their deck is kind of like the Predator of this deck, but who knows? Because I think like outside of the Archdruid's Charm, I don't know that we have removal per se. Okay, let's get the planes. Now, either Icetill Explorer or Harmonizer will be able to dodge the Seam Rip, but they still have a full play set of Shelter by Ghosts, so we're not out of the woods yet. Plus, if they have like a bunch of Ethereal Armors, we could just be in serious trouble here. Okay, Archdruid's Charm is good. Unfortunately, it doesn't kill their Scavenger. We can get rid of the Flight. So we could like Harmonizer here and then we could try to get rid of like Flight on next turn and then block. That might be the play. Just kind of slow roll it a little bit. Yeah, I think that's probably our best bet because they can kill us very easily here with these Scavengers. So we just try to hopefully not die to... It's definitely not ideal. Like I think losing the elf on 2 is really rough. Double strike. It's going to be hard to stabilize, though, if they've got anything else. Whew. Okay. So we just died a Scavenger, so we have to block that. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it. Yeah. Because even if we get rid of like the Feather of Flight, they still hit us with this. So we want to have a creature. Although this can't target, it's only non-land, right? So I think we're still okay. They can't target our forest with this. Depending where they put the counter, when they lose the ethereal armor or the feathered flight, this will shrink down to a 6, so we will not quite die. Be very close, but we won't quite die. Now we can block here and go to 1. I don't know how we come back from this, but... Yeah, and now we're just dead on board. Just a little bit too fast. I thing is, I think that like the mono white deck is like, it's pretty prevalent in the meta right now. So it is, I don't know what the percentage is in the meta, but it's definitely out there. So might have to shift the build of this deck a little bit to sort of navigate that matchup. Although both our losses there were on the draw, so like that one turn difference might make all the difference. Okay, here we are again. Whew, can we stick the landing? Can we survive? I think the chances of this Great Divide Guide surviving are pretty low, but if they for some reason don't have Sheltered by Ghosts or Seam Rip, we could be in business. And I mean, the chance of that is pretty low. This might be a short tournament. But I love what Felidar Retreat is doing for the control matchup. I mean, that is awesome. Ooh, stuck on land. Yeah, this is brutal. I think that's probably it either way. Like missing a land, I don't think we can miss land to this deck. Okay, we got the land, but we don't have a creature to play. I guess we're not technically dead unless they play something else, so we can use probably like Charmed to strip off an enchantment after they're in combat. I don't really see how we come back from this, but that's the theory at least. Yeah, and that's going to do it. So they're going to have just enough there to do lethal. And that's where the train ends, unfortunately. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let's take a look at the deck real quick. So as you can see from the stats, let's see, we ended up going 2-3. We did not make enough back to recoup our entry fee, unfortunately, but that is kind of the price of doing business sometimes. I think it's a fun deck. Let's take a very quick look. All right, so as you can see, we went 2-3 with the deck. 100% win rate on the play, 25% on the draw. Overall win rate 40%. Looking at the deck itself, what would I change? I think, especially in best of one, what I might do is kind of give it some more like early removal of some kind, or just sort of like more interaction. I think this is kind of a little bit tuned to maybe a control meta. So they have like these nice sideboard pieces that deal with some more sort of aggressive based metas. So you could bring in like the Seam Rips, for instance, the Fire Magic, if you wanted to. Those would both be nice to deal with some of that sort of early pressure from mono white. And yeah, and it looks like we pretty conclusively lost to mono white 0-3. But I do think all three matches we were on the draw, so that was certainly going to hurt your odds a little bit. What I might cut, maybe like you could like kind of hedge on the Felidar Retreats, maybe go down to like 2 copies, bring in some seam rips, something like that might be really nice. Yeah, or just like add a couple more Great Divide guides, or just a little bit more things that we can possibly have stick, just to sort of get our game plan going. I do like what Archdruid's Charm is trying to do. I think in terms of having this as a removal piece, it's maybe a little lackluster in terms of being like dealing with early threats. So maybe shave some number of like Felidar Retreats and Archdruid's Charms, or possibly Earthbender Ascensions, just to make some room for some early game, like a couple Seam Rips, or if you want to go the Fire Magic path, or just like more mana dorks, things like that. But yeah, overall the deck is cool, and if you have extra rares lying around, maybe try it out. If you like this video, you might like this next one, and I'll have a link there in the description for my playlist as well. But again, if you like these kind of content and you want to see more, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.